I never thought I'd be the one holding the phone that captured the end of Karen's empire, but there I was, fingers trembling on record as she barreled through the priority lane at JFK, like a freight train with a bad attitude. "Move, you idiots! Do you have any idea who pays your salaries?" she bellowed, her voice echoing off the gleaming tile floors, turning heads from gate to gate. And then, in a move that sucked the air out of the terminal, she grabbed a TSA agent's collar and yanked him forward, his badge clattering to the ground. Right before she spat in his face, the glob landing square on his cheek like a punctuation mark on her downfall. It started 6 months earlier, back when I was just another cog in the machine at Apex Innovations, a mid-tier tech firm in Silicon Valley shadow, churning out apps for forgetful executives who couldn't remember their own passwords. I'm Alex Rivera, mid-30s, the kind of guy who shows up early, stays late, and dreams of a corner office that doesn't smell like burnt coffee. I clawed my way up from intern to senior project manager, dodging layoffs and ass-kissing my way through board meetings. But Karen? Karen Whitaker was the queen bee, the CEO who'd slithered into the top spot after a hostile takeover, her resume padded with ghost-written Harvard creds and a Rolodex of daddy's old golf buddies. She was a sight, Karen, pushing 50, built like a retired linebacker who discovered donuts as a coping mechanism. 5'4" in heels that pinched her swollen feet, but she'd waddle into the office like she owned the oxygen we breathed. Her face was a perpetual scowl, jowls quivering under layers of foundation that cracked like desert earth when she yelled. Blonde hair teased into a helmet of entitlement, eyes like chipped ice, always scanning for the next throat to step on. She favored power suits in electric blue or screaming red, the fabric straining against her girth, buttons one deep breath from surrender. And her voice, oh God, that nasal whine, laced with a fake southern drawl she'd picked up from too many viewings of Gone with the Wind, as if it made her sound folksy instead of feral. From day one, Karen treated us like indentured servants in her personal fiefdom. Efficiency isn't optional. It's mandatory, she'd snap during all hands, her meaty fist slamming the conference table so hard the water glasses jumped. But efficiency for her meant cutting corners on everything but her own perks. Private jets to networking lunches in Napa, while the rest of us flew coach, knees jammed into the seat back of the guy in 14B. She'd expense spa days as stress management seminars, then dock our pay for unapproved overtime if we dared finish a sprint past 5. I remember the day she fired my buddy Raj for questioning a buggy code release, called him a diversity hire gone wrong in the exit interview, loud enough for HR to hear. We all whispered about it in the break room, nursing our lukewarm Keurigs, but no one pushed back. Not until the annual corporate retreat. That retreat was her baby, a 3-day schmooze fest at a luxury resort in the Hamptons, all on the company's dime, rebranded as Team Synergy Summit. 200 of us, from code monkeys to sales sharks, herded onto chartered buses from the city, while Karen jetted in separately, of course. The agenda was pure Karen. Icebreakers that felt like interrogations, trust falls where she accidentally let interns drop, and keynote speeches where she'd ramble about disruptive innovation without ever defining it. But the real hook was the gala dinner, black tie, Ocean View Ballroom, with a keynote from some washed-up VC who'd once funded Pets.com. Tickets were comped for execs, but for the rest? A cool $500 a head, deducted from our bonuses. Investment in your future, she called it in the memo. Her signature a loopy scrawl that looked like it was drawn by a drunk spider. I skipped it the first year, citing a family thing, but this time, this was my shot. I've been gunning for lead on the new AI project, the one that could actually put Apex on the map. Karen had been dangling it like a carrot, cooing in one-on-ones about my potential. But I knew better. Promises from her were as solid as her diet resolutions. So I shelled out, rented a tux that pinched worse than her heels, and showed up, hair gelled, smile plastered, ready to network my ass off. The night started smooth enough. Shrimp cocktails the size of my fist, Chardonnay that tasted like liquid gold, and small talk with suit from firms I'd only read about in TechCrunch. I cornered the VC during dessert, pitching our AI's edge on predictive analytics. Numbers crisp, Demo reel queued on my phone. He nodded, intrigued, scribbled my card. Score 1 for Alex. But then, like clockwork, Karen commandeered the mic for her impromptu toast. To Apex, where dreamers become doers, and doers become legends. Cheers erupted, forced but fervent. She basked in it, glass raised high, her double chin folding into a third under the spotlight. That's when the real show began. As the evening wound down, folks lined up for the valet, a serpentine queue snaking out the resort's marble foyer, under chandeliers that dripped light like honey. Limos idled curbside, exhaust curling into the salty night air. I was midway back, chatting with Sarah from marketing about Q4 projections, when Karen appeared at the end of the line like a storm cloud rolling in. No hello, no nod, just a huff, her Louboutins clicking like castanets as she assessed the weight. 30 seconds ticked by, and her face soured, jowls tightening. "Excuse me," she barked at the couple ahead, mid-40s, probably regional directors from a partner firm. The man turned, polite smile fading. "Is this the valet line?" she demanded, as if they were gatekeeping her birthright. "Yes, ma'am," the woman replied, voice tight. Karen's eyes narrowed. "Well, then you need to move. Now." The man chuckled, nervous. "We're all waiting," but she cut him off, stepping forward, her bolt parting the crowd like Moses of the Red Sea. "Do you know who I am? I'm Karen Whitaker, CEO of Apex Innovations. This is my event, my company, my drivers. Step aside." Murmurs rippled. Phone slipped out, subtle at first, then bolder. I hung back, heart pounding, a mix of secondhand shame and something sharper like vindication brewing. Sarah whispered, "Is she for real?" Oh, she was. The couple didn't budge, so Karen escalated, voice climbing octaves. "Security, I demand you escort these interlopers to the back." A guard materialized, young guy in an ill-fitting blazer, radio crackling. "Ma'am, please, everyone's in line." That's when she lost it, lunging forward, snatching his arm, twisting it just enough to make him wince. "You work for me, all of you. Get them out of my way." The slap came next, echoing like a gunshot. Her palm connected with his cheek, rings glinting, diamond clusters that left red welts blooming. Gasps sucked the oxygen dry. The guard staggered, hand to face, blood trickling from a split lip. Chaos erupted. Shouts, flashes from a dozen iPhones, the couple dialing 911. Karen stood there, chest heaving, spittle flecking her lipstick-smeared mouth. "VIP treatment. That's what I deserve," she shrieked, as if volume could rewrite reality. I hit record without thinking. My phone angled low, capturing it all. Her flushed rage, the guard's stunned betrayal, the line fracturing into witnesses. 20 seconds of footage that would go viral by morning. As cops swarmed the foyer, local PD, badges gleaming under the porticos, I slipped back into the shadows, pulse thundering. This wasn't just a scene, it was the crack in her crown. And I was the one who'd document every fracture. The arrest was swift, almost anticlimactic. They cuffed her right there, wrists chafing against a Rolex, as she wailed about lawsuits and her rights as a taxpayer. "Harassment, discrimination," she howled, but the body cam footage later showed the truth. Unprovoked assault, clear as day. They hauled her into a cruiser, her makeup running in black rivers, dignity shredded like confetti. The resort went silent, save for the click of heels retreating and the low hum of scandal spreading. By dawn, Karen Cuts the Line was trending, my clip, anonymized but unmistakable, racking up shares from coast to coast. Apex's stock dipped 3% before the opening bell. Board calls flooded in, damage control spinning like a hamster wheel. But me? I drove home to my cramped Queens apartment, the city skyline blurring past, a grim smile cracking my face. Revenge? Not yet. This was just the appetizer. Karen had betrayed us all, stolen bonuses, crushed dreams, turned loyalty into a joke. Now, the reckoning was mine to orchestrate. Waking up to 50,000 views on that clip felt like stepping on a live wire. Jolt after jolt of anonymous cheers and vitriolic glee flooding my notifications. This is every boss we've ever had. One comment read, her emojis raining down. Lock her up and throw away the key, another snarled, with gifs of cheering crowds. I scrolled from my unmade bed, coffee going cold on the nightstand, the distant honk of Manhattan traffic a soundtrack to the mob's roar. Karen's face, frozen in mid-snarl, looped endlessly, the embodiment of every petty tyrant who'd ever weaponized a title. But buried under the dopamine hit was a gnawing. What if this blew back on Apex? On me? Work that Monday was a ghost town vibe, even with the office at half-capacity post-retreat. Emails pinged like artillery. All staff. Emergency town hall, 10 a.m. Mandatory. Karen's interim COO, a weaselly guy named Ted with a comb-over that screamed midlife denial, hosted via Zoom from his home office, bookshelves artfully blurred to hide the mess. An unfortunate incident occurred. He droned, tie askew, sweat beading on his brow. CEO Whitaker is taking personal time. We're committed to a thorough investigation. Bullshit. Whispers in the Slack channels, muted but furious, painted the picture. Bail posted at $10,000. Charges pending assault and disorderly conduct. Her lawyer already spinning misunderstanding to the press. I logged in from my desk, the open plan floor humming with subdued chatter. Sarah slid into the chair beside me, eyes wide. You see the post? Entitled XX Hampton's Meltdown. She shoved her phone under my nose. A grainy still from my video, Karen's jowls mid-quiver, captioned with tabloid flair. My stomach twisted. I'd gone anonymous. Sure, VPN, fake handle at Line Cutter Truth. But the internet's a bloodhound. What if someone pixel-peeped the background, clocked my scuffed loafers in frame? The town hall devolved into a farce. Q&A opened, and hands shot up like accusations. Will there be compensation for the retreat fees? Raj's old podmate, Lena, fired first, her feed glitching from righteous fury. Ted hemmed hot. Under review. Then, how does this affect the AI project? That was me, voice steady, testing waters. Ted blinked. Full steam ahead. Karen's vision remains. Vision? More like delusion. Her vision had gutted R&D budgets for her vanity hires. Consultants who billed $500 per hour to tell us the sky was blue. By lunch, the backlash crested. Protests brewed outside Apex's Palo Alto HQ. Ironic, since the retreat was East Coast, but outrage travels faster than light. A dozen ex-employees, signs scrawled with "Fire the Karen" and "End Corporate Entitlement," chanting under the relentless California sun. Live streams hit TikTok, duets splicing Karen's slap with clips of civil rights marches, hashtags like Boycott Apex and Karengate exploding. Sponsors pulled ads, Salesforce citing brand misalignment, Google pausing a cloud deal worth millions. Stock plummeted another 7%, wiping out retirements overnight. Karen, of course, didn't go quiet. Her first post-bail statement dropped via her personal Twitter, verified blue check intact for now. Deeply saddened by the overreaction to a minor altercation. As a female leader in a male-dominated field, I face constant scrutiny. Women in tech stand with Karen. The nerve. Likes trickled in from her echo chamber. Conservative pundits decrying woke cancel culture. MAGA ants sharing with prayers for strong women. But the replies? A slaughter. Strong? You assaulted a man half your size. One viral takedown read, quote, tweeting her mugshot, puffy-eyed, hair deflated, the resort's fairy lights mocking her in the precinct flash. Feminists disowned her. This isn't sisterhood, it's sociopathy. Even her alma mater, that dubious Harvard connection, issued a statement. We do not condone violence. I fueled the fire subtly. Nothing traceable. A tip to Gawker's successor site. Sources say Whitaker's been pulling this for years. Check flight manifests for her VIP upgrades on company cards. Boom. Next day's expose. Receipts of her strong-arming Delta staff for first-class bumps. Mid-flight tantrums over gluten-free meals. Another nudge to Reddit's r/anti-work. AMA. I survived a Karen CEO. Asked me about the time she made us salute her photo. Threads lit up, stories pouring out like confessions at a revival. The affair she'd had with the CFO, exposed via HR leaks I'd accidentally forwarded. The diversity quota she ignored, hiring only loyal, read, white wealthy faces. Each drop eroded her pedestal, turning her from villain to punchline. But the real gut punch came midweek, the board's interim measures. Ted called me in, specifically his office reeking of Axe body spray and desperation. Alex, you're reliable. We're putting you on point for the AI pivot. Show the world we're moving forward. Promotion. It tasted like pity, or worse, a leash. I nodded, all earnest but inside. Elation laced with acid. This was my inn, the keys to the kingdom she'd hoarded. While she lawyered up in her McMansion, poolside with Rose, I'd rewrite the code. Her code. The proprietary algorithms she'd inspired, riddled with shortcuts that had tanked 2 launches already. I'd fix them, sure, but with footnotes. Breadcrumbs leading back to her. Nights blurred into a vigil. Combing Glassdoor for more dirt. Scripting anonymous posts on LinkedIn, former Apex insider. Leadership toxicity at epidemic levels. My apartment became war room. Pizza boxes stacking like sandbags. Screens glowing with Karen's unraveling. She tried a comeback video on YouTube. My Truth, she titled it. Filmed in soft focus against bookshelves of self-help tomes she'd never cracked. I've dedicated my life to empowering others. This is a witch hunt. Views stalled at 10K, dislikes burying it. Comments. Empowering? You empowered your ego. A deepfake parody surfaced. Her face on a rampaging elephant, trampling toy executives. Laughter, the great equalizer. The controversy metastasized. Late-night shows pounced. Colbert monologued her as the woman who slaps harder than she manages. SNL sketched a skit. Kate McKinnon channeling her whine, waddling through a boardroom, demanding a line of my own to cut. Ratings spiked. Advertisers fled en masse. Our biggest client, a fintech giant, cited reputational risk. Layoff whispers turned to screams. 50 jobs axed by Friday, including Sarah's. She called me sobbing from Starbucks. Unemployment app open. This is on her, Alex. All of it. Guilt gnawed, but resolve hardened. I'd been betrayed too. Passed over for promotions, credited stolen, once even blamed for her email hack because I lacked vigilance. Her bitter end? It'd be symphony, not solo. I reached out to the slap guard, anonymously via a prepaid phone, saw what happened. Want to chat? Off record. His voice cracked over the line. Nightmares, therapy bills, a wife urging him to sue. She called me boy after, he said, voice small. Like I was nothing. I recorded it. Ethically fuzzy, but justice ain't tidy. As week 2 dawned, Apex teetered. Protests swelled to hundreds, circling the HQ with bullhorns and bad signs. Karen's home address leaked. Suburban sprawl in Greenwich, Connecticut. Doxers circling like vultures. Egged mailbox. Slashed tires. A brick through her bay window with the IP. Try felon scrawled in Sharpie. She went radio silent, but her lawyer's filings screamed. Defamation suits against unknown posters. Injunctions against the board. Too late. The dominoes tumbled. I stood at my window that night. City lights fracturing like her facade. Phone buzzing with a text from an unknown number. We know you started it. Thanks. Chills. But fear? Nah. This was the backlash she deserved. Raw. Unrelenting. A mirror to the hell she'd inflicted. The line she cut was corporate, sure, but deeper. The one between decency and depravity. And I was just the messenger, sharpening the blade. 3 weeks in, and Karen's empire wasn't crumbling. It was pulverized, dust devils of scandal whipping through boardrooms and bedrooms alike. I woke to my inbox nuked. Interview requests from podcasters sniffing for the inside scoop. LinkedIn connections spiking like a Ponzi scheme. Apex had gone full bunker mode. Remote work mandatory. Comms locked to canned PR pablum. But the real pulse was underground. Whistleblower forums buzzing. Ex-colleagues spilling tea in marathon Twitter spaces. She once made a pregnant employee work through contractions. One voice cracked. Anonymous, but raw. called it commitment testing. My contributions stayed surgical, tips to journalists, docs redacted just enough to sting without scorching me. The arrest hearing was the circus of the century, broadcast live from a Nassau County courthouse that looked like it hadn't seen an update since Law and Order wrapped. I tuned in from my couch, takeout tie steaming beside me, as Karen waddled to the stand in a muumuu disguised as business casual, navy chiffon draping her bulk like a surrender flag. Her lawyer, a slick ambulance chaser type with a spray tan, painted her as victim, a momentary lapse under duress. Ms. Whitaker is a pillar of industry, targeted by jealous underlings. The judge, a no-nonsense black woman in her 60s with glasses perched like a gavel, wasn't buying. Assault is assault, counsel. Bail revoked pending trial. Flight risk given to resources. Karen's wail pierced the feed, a guttural, animal keen that devolved into sobs, mascara carving canyons down her cheeks. Cut to commercial, but the memes were instant. Her face photoshopped onto the scream mask, captioned, "When a line won't cut itself." Justice for the Guard trended globally. GoFundMe for his legal fees hitting 6 figures in hours. Donors, blue-collar heroes, fellow assault survivors, even a celeb tech bro who'd tangled with her at conference. "Payback's a bitch," his note read. I donated $100, anonymous, heart racing as the total ticked up. Back at Apex, the purge accelerated. Ted called a restructuring all hands. Zoom again, his face paler than skim milk. To ensure stability. 40 more jobs vaporized, mine spared but hollow. I was lead now, officially, but leading what? A skeleton crew patching leaks, while clients bailed like rats from a yacht. Sarah landed on her feet, gig consulting for startups, but the calls kept coming. "Alex, is it true she peed in the office sink during a bender?" Half-truths, amplified into legend. I confirmed what I could, denied the rest, always with a pivot, focus on the pattern. Systemic abuse. Karen's counterattack was pathetic, a flailing from her Greenwich exile. She launched a Substack, Unfiltered Leadership, my fight against cancel mob, rambling screeds about feminism's dark side and millennial snowflakes. Subscribers? A dozen, mostly bots. Her big swing, a $50 million lawsuit against Apex, alleging hostile ousting and defamation by proxy. The board laughed it off in leaks to Reuters. Frivolous. We're counter-suing for breach. Her conduct tanked our valuation $200 million. Stocks rebounded 2%, vultures circling her shares. The outrage peaked at the shareholder meeting, virtual, fortified with NDAs and mics on mute. I tuned in as investor proxy, my stake a piddling 100 shares bought on a whim. Karen crashed it uninvited, dialing in from what looked like a lawyer's conference room. Background blurred, but for a crucifix glinting ominously. "Shareholders, this is a coup," she thundered, voice warbling through compression. "These traitors, led by that spineless Ted, are stealing my legacy." The chat exploded. Emojis of knives, popcorn buckets. Moderator scrambled, but not before she named names. And that Rivera punk thinks he's hot shit with his little videos. My blood froze. She knew. Post-meeting, my phone lit up. HR panicked. "Alex, we need to talk." Off books. I met Ted at a dive bar in Midtown, neon buzzing over sticky booths, anonymity in the den. He slid a scotch my way, hands shaky. "She's gunning for you. Claims you orchestrated the leak. Evidence." I shrugged, sipping slow. Paranoia. But if she pushes... Ted leaned in, breath sour. "Help us bury this. Testify to her." Volatility. Quietly. "Bait." I feigned reluctance, then nodded. "For the company." Lie. This was for every late night she docked. Every idea she'd hijacked. The testimony came a week later. Depot in a sterile Midtown suite. Court reporter clicking like a metronome. Karen's lawyer grilled me. "Mr. Rivera, isn't it true you harbored resentment? Passed over for promotion?" I met his eyes, calm as glass. "Resentment? For what?" "Watching her tank projects." "Sure, but the video? That was self-defense. We were all witnesses." Then my turn. Exhibits queued. Emails where she'd CC'd the board calling me unreliable ethnic. Performance reviews she'd falsified to block my raise. The lawyer blanched. Karen, viewing remote, disconnected mid-sentence, her feed cutting to black. Fallout was biblical. Her lawsuit crumbled, dismissed with prejudice. Her countersuit slapped down as baseless. Media frenzy renewed. Karen's karma, from corner office to court jester. Protests evolved into boycotts. Local chapters of Now disavowing her toxic feminism. Chambers of Commerce blackballing Apex alums. Her Greenwich neighbors formed a petition, relocate the relic. Vandalism escalated. A swastika on her garage? No, just KUT in red spray, but the press ran with it, her tears on local news. I'm a target now. For doing my job. I kept low, but the revenge arced higher. Teamed with the guard, now plaintiff in a civil suit. I fed his lawyer's gold. Witness statement from the retreat, psych evals hinting at her narcissistic rage. Settlement talks leaked. $2 million plus public apology. She balked, raging to her therapist, billed to Apex, naturally. They can't do this. I'm the victim. But the world saw otherwise. Polls on CNN. 78% deserved worse. Personally, the betrayal cut deepest. I'd idolized her once, fresh out of state school, dazzled by her girl boss TED Talk knockoff. She'd mentored me, sorta. Lunches where she'd monologue, me nodding like a bobblehead. Then the pivot, stealing my pitch for the AI tool, rebranding it as hers at demo day. Team effort, she'd purred, while I seethed in the audience. That line at the retreat? Symbolic. She cut in front of all of us, always. As month 2 closed, Apex stabilized. Me at the helm of AI, demoing to salvage clients. Karen? Radio silence, save for a whispered settlement. Resignation, India gagged, $500,000 severance clawed back in suits. Bitter pill, swallowed in private. I toasted alone that night. IPA foaming, city humming below. The controversy? It forged me. But her end? Just beginning. One more push, and she'd shatter for good. For months post-slap, and the dust hadn't settled. It swirled, a perpetual storm cloud over Karen's cratered life. I'd moved up fully now. VP of Innovation, title crisp on my email sig, corner office with a view of the bay that didn't reek of regret. Apex clawed back, stock steadying at pre-meltdown levels. My AI project greenlit for beta. But victory tasted bittersweet, laced with the shrapnel of what she'd wrought. Layoffs lingered like ghosts. Empty desks, Slack ghosts in muted channels. Sarah thrived freelance, but others? Therapy couches and temp gigs, dreams deferred. Karen's descent was methodical, a slow bleed scripted by Schadenfreude. The criminal trial hit in October. Muggy Manhattan courtroom, air thick with anticipation. She took the stand, transformed. Hair subdued in a sensible bob, suit loose to hide the pounds shed from stress-eating binges. I was under immense pressure, she testified, voice quivering for the jury. 6 civilians, faces etched with the wear of 9-to-5s. Running a company. It's war. Her lawyer nodded sagely, but the prosecutor shredded it. Body cam footage looped, her spittle frozen in HD. The guard testified next, poised, bandaged scars faded but spirit scarred. She didn't just hit me, she erased me. Called me nothing after. Jury out 2 hours. Guilty on assault, misdemeanor, but with a felony shadow if appealed wrong. Sentence: 90 days jail, probation, $50,000 fine. Plus the civil payout, now public. $1.8 million, her life's savings gutted. She cracked on the courthouse steps, paparazzi frenzy, mics thrusting like bayonets. This is injustice, a setup by radicals. But the crowd outside? Hostile. Counter-protesters with Karens for accountability signs, chanting "Own it." A tomato sailed, splatting her lapel red as borscht. She fled to a waiting SUV, doors slamming on her sobs, the internet feasting anew. Prison intake photos leaked, deloused, orange jumpsuit swallowing her frame, eyes hollowed by the mirror of consequence. The backlash boomeranged personal. Her husband, tolerated trophy, a retired ad exec with a wandering eye, filed for divorce mid-trial, citing irreconcilable humiliation. Assets split. The Greenwich Manse listed at fire sale price. Pool green with neglect. Kids? A strange 20s. One a barista in Brooklyn who'd long ago changed her name. The other posting vague Insta stories. Family first? Try self-respect. Friends ghosted. Golf club bans. Charity boards ousting her amid donor revolts. Her Substack folded at 47 subs. Speaking gigs? Canceled. Then paired it on podcasts, how to cut lines, and jumpstart her downfall. I watch from afar, complicit curator. My final play. A tell-all op-ed to Wired, ghost-written but byline me. From the trenches, surviving a CEO's reign of terror. No names dropped direct, but the anecdotes? Laser-guided. The sink incident, true, witnessed. The stolen pitches, mine. The ethnic slurs, logged. Published Friday, it went nuclear. Shares from Musk to Swifties, op-eds spawning op-eds. Apex disavowed politely. One view. But the board slipped me equity bumps, quiet thanks. Karen's response? A final, feral video, grainy iPhone from a motel, Florida plates in the background. You've all turned on me. But I'll rise. Book deal incoming. Watch. Lies. Her memoir pitch? Rejected by every house. Agent blacklist compiling. She surfaced sporadically. Waitressing at a Waffle House, tabloid stakeout. Voice hoarse from yelling at fry cooks. A brief OnlyFans flirt. Cringe wellness vids. $47 in tips. The bitter end crystallized Christmas week. Eviction notice on the motel door. Belongings curbside in hefty bags. Designer rags mingling with crumpled lawsuits. A neighbor's ring cam caught her. Waddling to a Greyhound. Duffel slung. Face gaunt. Waving a half-hearted fist at the lens. This isn't over. It was, though. By New Year's, Karen Watch trended as comedy relic. Memes archived, protests morphed to policy pushes, anti-Karen laws in Cali, mandating exec sensitivity training. The Guard? Thriving, new job at a nonprofit, speaking on workplace dignity. Sarah and I grabbed drinks, toasting to lines uncut. Me? The betrayal scar faded, replaced by purpose. I'd sought revenge not for glory, but equilibrium. The scale she'd tipped for years, now balanced. Karen? Last sighting. A Florida strip mall psychic shop, consulting for $20 a reading. Her sign. See your future before I cut the line. Patrons? Sparse. Mostly drunks seeking absolution. The woman who'd claimed VIP status ended VIP-less. Alone, broke, echoing in her own entitlement void. Bitter? Yeah. Deserved? To the last drop. As I signed off on Apex's Q1 report, profits up 15%, my signature bold. I glanced at the window, Bay Bridge glittering. The hook that started all? That slap, that line, that unfiltered rage. It shocked us into truth. Power unchecked devours its wielder. And me? Just the witness who dared press record. In America's grind, sometimes the underdog bites back. Hard.